But anyway, I wanted to spend a little time with you guys just to share some of my experiences and to share some of my thoughts and some of the things that the Spirit of God has shown me. First of all, I want to say that there is absolutely nothing, not one single thing in this carnal, in this three-dimensional world that is perfect and infallible. Nothing. The only thing that is perfect and infallible is the Spirit of God that lives within you. You, me. The Spirit of God will never lead you astray. The Spirit of God will never set you chasing your tail. The Spirit of God will never put you into religion. The Spirit of God will never cause you to accuse others. The Spirit of God will never have you condemn others or tell others that they are wrong. And whenever I say wrong, I'm talking about whenever you go into the deeper things of God. You know, whenever you go into discovering what we are, who we are, why we're here, what this place is. Whenever you start talking about frequencies, you know, whenever you start talking about bloodlines and things like that. Whenever you start going into things like that, you'll start getting accused a lot. You know, these are the deeper things. You know, God will teach you the mysteries, the deep things about Him and everything. I'm not talking about, debating over doctrine. I'm over that. I'm done with that. I know that the only reason I'm still alive today and the only reason that the only good thing about me is the Spirit of God that is within me. I know that it's by God's works inside me that changed me and made me a better person. It's nothing about me. My days of arguing with people about doctrine are over. You know, the very night that God came to me, my mind started opening up to all these numbers and the darkness in the world and a lot of things. I remember for a few days I was writing, just writing things down that God was sharing with me, and I still have copies of it at my mom's house in America. And when you first glance at it, it looks like the writings of a madman. But then you start looking at some of the things, and it's pretty wild. There was one thing in there that came to me, and it was talking about prisms. You know what a prism is? It's something that refracts light. And God showed me that a prism is just another word for prison. And if you've all seen that Pink Floyd album cover where you have the pure light coming in, and then it refracts and it breaks off into the 7 colors of the light spectrum. And what God was showing me is that whenever that light come in, or whenever we come into this world, we got broken apart. We got trapped in this flesh, in this carnality. What we were before we got trapped into here was pure. But we got caught in this prison. It's like this place is some sort of prison. And what God was showing me in the Spirit was where we come from, wherever where is. If it's the same place as here, but just in a different dimension, whatever that is. But whatever here is or there is, wherever we come from, we were different. And God was showing me that we were like pure crystal, and that our bodies, were light. We're light bodies. But whenever we come here, that light got separated. And we got bound to this place. It's just some of the stuff that God was showing me. And he was showing me a lot of the things in the mathematics, the things that I had been doing all my life with counting and seeing patterns and everything. But he was showing me, he was finally revealing to me what all those years and years of counting and seeing patterns were about. Because before I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I counting everything? Why am I seeing these patterns and colors and all this, If God finally made it to make sense for me, And so, whenever someone accuses you of, what you're speaking with others about, or just sharing what the Spirit of God is showing you, whenever you're talking about frequencies and bloodlines and things like that, whenever someone tells you that what you're talking about is futile and that you're deceiving people, I always know whenever somebody tells me something like that, I've learned in the past, or whenever someone tells me, what you're doing is wrong, I can assure you that is wrong and things like that, I know right away to push on through that person and to dive head first into what they're trying to get me to steer me away from. Because I know what they are, is they're just an Agent Smith here in the Matrix that has popped up trying to protect the Matrix for what this place is. Because this place don't want you to figure it out, It has agents. A lot of people think, Billy's crazy, he's lost it. But I'm telling you, there are agents in this place. Some of them don't know who they are, and some know exactly who they are. I could go into great detail about that on some, but I won't. But just know this, that if someone is trying to deflect you or divert you away from something that the Spirit of God is trying to get you to look into and to find something deeper, if they're trying to do that to you, then rest assured you're headed in the right direction, And always understand this too. Sometimes the Spirit of God will send you to places and let you experience things and look into things that may not be truth, but there's some truths in it. But the Spirit of God will never let you be completely deceived by something. You may look at something for a little bit and wonder some things, but you'll never confirm it. I hear lots of people all the time going, the Spirit of God confirmed to me that what you're doing is wrong. 2 weeks later, they'll say, well, the Spirit of God confirmed to me that what this is wrong. Spirit of God confirmed me this is wrong. They'll believe 20 different things within a span of 6 months, but they'll always say the Spirit of God confirmed it to me. I won't ever say that the Spirit of God confirmed anything to me until I know for a fact that it's true, because I won't change my mind from it. I won't move away from it. That's the way I've been from the very beginning, is that whenever God came to me and changed me, it was by His works in me that made me a new person. That will never, ever change. You can never, ever make me deny that. And the person that came to me, the one that I was told to call out to, was Jesus. I wouldn't trade anything for the last 6 years of my life that I've been able to, I've been blessed to be able to live. I've had a lot of experiences that God has allowed me to have, a lot good and a lot bad. It's been an amazing ride. I don't know how much longer this ride is going to be for me. I know that God set our times to be born, and I believe that our times to die are set as well. I don't know when that is. I believe that we live in a time that there's about to be a great change. A lot of guys disagree with me with what I'm about to say now, and that's okay. We can disagree, but that doesn't mean we can't be friends. I'm not going to accuse you or tell you that you're wrong or you're deceived. I would never do that to you. But I believe that all the things from Revelations, the book of Revelations, has has been fulfilled within each one of us, because I believe that's a spiritual thing. Plus, I believe all the prophecy was completed in 70 AD, and that all of that was complete. But I believe we're stepping into a new age, that there's going to be something amazing that happens. That's what God has put in my spirit since day one. And so I believe that when this happens, that a lot more eyes are going to be open. I wish I could sit here and say that I had all the answers. I've told you guys before that if I ever get on here and say I've got it all figured out, I know it all, to run away from me as fast as you can. And I've had people hear me say that, and about 3 or 4 days later, they'll send me a message and say, I've got it all figured out. It's kind of like they're telling me, run away from me, because that's what the accuser does. He'll tell you who he is first. I had something else I wanted to talk about, but oh, yeah, I'm at 12 minutes here. I've got about 3 minutes left. Whenever I was young, I took guitar lessons, and I learned how to read music, and I could read that music and I could play along, and occasionally I would memorize a song to where I didn't have to have the music there in front of me, but I was just repeating what I had memorized, what I had been reading the music. And I'd actually gotten pretty good. I wasn't the best, but I'd gotten pretty good. And I admired all the great guitar players. And I remember one time when I was in my late teens, I had a new friend pop into my life. And he had never picked up a guitar in his life. And he asked me, he said, hey, can I play that guitar? Can I play around with it? I said, sure. He got on it and he picked around on it and he just strummed on it, and I could see him just, listening to the notes, the frequencies and stuff. He was listening to it, and he said, you mind if I take this home with me for a few days? I said, man, go ahead, knock yourself out. Because at this point I wasn't really playing it a lot. I'd gotten frustrated because I couldn't go beyond reading the music, And, I couldn't pick it up and play it for myself and just let myself go. I just wanted to do that. Just lose yourself playing the guitar. I couldn't do it because I was stuck in what I could only read. And I remember about 3 or 4 days later, this guy came back to my house, and he could rip that guitar from one side of the neck to the other. And he was listening to songs on the radio, and he could play along with them. He could make up his own things. It was like something inside him. He knew how to play by ear. It just came to him. Boom. It was there. He didn't have to read nothing. He didn't need anything. It was all inside him. It's always been there, but it wasn't until he got into his teenage years that he picked it up and discovered it. And then he was off to the races. He was gone. Guy makes beautiful music now. It's amazing. And I was sitting there, and I was jealous. I was happy for him, but deep down inside I was jealous. I was like, why can't I do that? I've been playing ever since I was little, since I was 5, 6 years old. And I can't just let go and play it. That's where a lot of people are right now, in their Bibles, in their doctrinal beliefs. There's a part of us, inside us, that is of God. And whenever God flips that switch and reveals himself to you, that's when you really fly and you can just let it go. We have so many people out there stuck in this rut, and there's so many Agent Smiths out there. Anyway, I love you all. God bless.